Hello.
Hello, it's one of my favorite times, and that's sharing space with Ritchie.
Oh, bless you. It's my favorite time too.
And
Lovely spending time with you.
well, thank you. And in fact, this is your brainchild. So full credit to Ritchie, Longman Tarot. Link is below. Please like and subscribe. Do all of that. But we are talking about Tarot the Stash Way number 25, Tarot and the Sense of Smell.
Is it really 25 episodes you've done?
I've done 25 episodes, and that's not,
Wow.
yeah, it's not counting some of the offshoots where people have it come in and ask questions and stuff like that. So, but
That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Congratulations. It's nice to be 25th.
25 was such a good year.
It was such a good halcyon days.
Yes. Oh my, oh my gosh. So, um, so Richie, it's lovely to see you.
Thank you.
And so how has your week been before we say hello to all of the best chatters?
Oh, I wish it had been brilliant. I wish I'd had a brilliant Beltane. I wish I'd got up at 5 o'clock in the morning and drummed in a beautiful sunrise and then, radiantly gone to work with bluebirds flying around my head. But sadly, no, none of it happened. I'm hoping that I'm going to do some Beltane things this weekend because we've got bank holiday in the UK.
Okay.
So I've got 3 days off and I can just relax, catch up on my sleep. I want to do some meditating because that's, I think, the problem. I haven't been in the right headspace. Relax. I tell you what I am going to do as well. I'm going to see the film Tarot. Have you heard about this?
I've heard rumors about it, but I am so behind on films. So tell me about it.
Well, it's just a film that's apparently a horror film. Like they did to the Annabelle doll and Ouija boards. They're now doing it to tarot cards, basically.
Okay.
So I thought, well, I've got to go along and just see what carnage they make of this. And I thought I could just hand out my business cards on the way out to people. This is how it should be done. This is how it should be done. Take a card. Take a card. Here we go.
Come to me. I'm an expert.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping it's going to be a wonderful weekend, and I know it will.
Good. Very good. Well, and it is one of those things that I have to be careful. I have to monitor my expectations with reality.
Yeah.
I can expect certain things, but then, yeah, no. So they don't match. So, but anyhow.
I'm finding that a bit more. I'm finding that a bit more every day. Things just don't quite match up.
Yes. So I'm having to make sure that my expectations are in check. So, all right, let's say hi. Okay, so so one of these days I'm just going to make this as I'm going to make this as a banner. Hello, best chatters.
Hi, everyone.
The best lurkers, the work lurkers, the future lurkers, the flying lurking, and tub lurking.
There might be some tub lurkers.
There might be some tub lurkers, and I'm glad you're here. Thank you. And of course, this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance, really. And do all of the YouTube things like share and subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. So there's that. So anyhow, so a lot of lovely people here. I'm going to, so we're talking about the sense of smell as it relates to tarot. And so this is a great topic. And Delphi Ross isn't going to be here, but glad to see you. And Beth, the Spazia Rising.
Hi, Beth.
So it's
Hi, Barbara.
Yeah. No, Barbara is here, and then Kaylee, Woo Woo Wonderment.
Hi, Kaylee.
Here. The lovely Sandra. Good to see you.
Hi, Sandra. Lovely.
Ange.
Hello, Ange.
Lynn Hayes. Good to see you, Lynn. Mods, please be careful of this one and this one. Plucky Heroine.
Hi.
Good to see you, Plucky. Amrita.
Hello, Amrita.
Germany.
Good to see you.
Philippa.
Hi, Philippa.
Willow Love. Mary
Hello.
Hernandez Walker. Vanessa Kismet Smitten. Oh, look at all of the lovely people. This is great.
Loads of people.
Yes, I'm like going, wow. Fran Marley,
Hi,
Dancing
Fran.
Soul Sister, and definitely not a movie I could watch. Never been able to watch horror movies ever. Scooby-Doo gave me nightmares as a child. Okay.
I like that.
So, and I was too scared to watch the trailer on YouTube when I heard screams. I'm gonna have to look into that. Tortoiseshell Moon, Kathy is here. Good to see you. Willow Love, and I did see Jonathan Daly. Hello,
Hi, Jonathan.
and Hola Tarot Uncles.
I like that. Tarot uncles.
Are we your tarot uncles? I'll
Tarot tunkles.
Tarot Tunkles.
Tarot tunkles.
Good. I love that.
Tarot tunkles with fans.
Yes, I like that. Okay, so and Vanessa is car park. So, all right, and
who else? GT's here.
Yes, get through. Hello. I did see Sandra say something about, she loves a good horror film. So imagine that. So
I'll let you know, Sandra, what it's like.
Yeah. Hi, Flower Beauty, Peacock Rainbow, or Flower Beauty, Peacock Rainbow. Tunkles. Yeah, Tunkles with fans. Donna Riedler is here. Hello. Good to see you. So,
hello.
Yeah. So, Ritchie, how did this? Yes, please do, Ritchie.
I will do.
So, how did this topic come up? Do you remember?
Well, I remember we did a live with Medium Betsy Palmer, didn't we? And we were talking about the Claires. I seem to remember that was the title. And we were talking about Claire, all the different Claires that you go along with it all. And I brought up the subject of smell.
Yep, clairsalience.
And quite an early on learning the tarot and working with the tarot, I've often applied my thoughts and stepping into cards, thought about what the smells of the cards would be. Are there some images on the cards that would possibly have a certain smell, because let's face it, and I think we all know this, is that smell is one of the strongest senses, that you can smell somebody's perfume. I mean, if I smell my first grade teacher's perfume on somebody from 50 years ago, I automatically think of her. It's like, it's such a strong memory unlocking mechanism. And I just thought that's quite an interesting idea. So if you were going to be working with cards or journeying into cards, just to put another layer onto it, what would the smells coming out? So what I suppose you ought to say is not what the actual deck smells like, because we know there are deck sniffers out there, but it's, if you were looking at an image of a card, what would the smells be of what was going on in that card?
I agree with you. And Free Spirit is here, as well as Trisha Wartooth. And so, yeah, it's oh yeah. And Kaylee is like going ocean, salt, sea. And Tanis calls it clairsalience.
I love it. I'm not quite sure because the smell of a card makes it sound a bit weird to say that.
Well, and here's the interesting thing about this is we were chatting a little bit backstage, and part of it is it's going to be very personal.
Yeah.
And it's also, I think, going to be related to the images that are on the card.
Yeah.
And I just thought of this. It's like I should pull out a Tarot de Marseille.
Oh, yes.
And yes. That. So, but wait, I happen to have one right here.
Fancy that.
So I know it's the, here to share.
There you go.
It's by Chris
Business
Butler.
partners.
Yes. But
It'd
anyhow,
be really interesting to compare some of the major arcanas to see whether some of the smells or what we would unlock.
yes.
And I think it's I'm going to say this, well, having done this for many years, it's not a case of I'm going to find 78 smells that represent each and every one of the cards. This either happens or it doesn't. Don't force it to happen. And as you said, it's very, very personal. So if it doesn't work for you, that's fine. And what you may get from a card is obviously going to be different to what other people get from a card.
Yes.
But it's about building those layers. And with the smells, perhaps other things will start to come with the meaning behind it.
Yeah. And it is one of those things that you had talked about. One of the ways to learn about the tarot cards and to explore them is to step into the tarot card and to walk around in the image of the card. Go ahead.
This is how it all started. It was with this one.
Okay.
Yes. So it's a very good, I can go through the process of how this all started coming about. So I very much like the image of this card. And I wanted to know a little bit more about what was happening in the location. And I know there are location tarot decks now, and particularly there's a new one that's come out that has got like the whole panoramic view of what's going on. So
yes.
I've avoided that one because that one for me breaks what I'm working with. But I'm like, okay, so where are we with this card? We can see a bit of perhaps a lake or water outside. Is she inside? Is she outside? For me, she's in one of those Greek temples that have got pillars in rows, and she's sitting at the end of it. And I've walked through this big entranceway, and I've walked, as perhaps the fool is on his journey to visit us all, walking up this aisle with these columns. Half of the columns are black, half of the columns are white. Why are the columns black? Perhaps there's a lot of incense burning that's made the columns black. Okay, so we're in a kind of Greek temple. Let's go with that one there. So Greek temples for me, and because she's a, perhaps like the Pythian prophetess of the Delphic oracle, then she would need some incense. And so what smells are going to come out of that? And the moment I started thinking, okay, it's going to have that quite pungent incensey smell, but possibly with a bit of sage in there as well.
Yes.
And I thought, yeah, I can see that. And also because she's outside, this isn't that incense that kind of sticks in your throat. Do you know what I mean? That it's in the air, but you're not necessarily inhaling it and making you cough. So it's quite a pleasant but heady experience that's going on.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And Jonathan has said I caught a whiff of frankincense from that card.
Yeah.
So yeah. Jen is here. Hello, Jen. Good to see you. And Donna had mentioned it sounds like part of the process of path working. Yes.
Absolutely. So, I'm not brilliant at path working, but I found that this was a way in for me that worked. And I went in with the smells and the imaginary part of it all. And since I've been doing shamanic journeying, it's been a lot easier to unlock that part of it all. So that's how I got into it. And then I thought, okay, so what do we pick up as we go through other cards? And it's quite an interesting tool to have for particularly when people are perhaps new to tarot or are reading for tarot for other people, and you get that awful kind of block feeling when you go, oh my goodness, I don't quite know what this card is, and you don't want to, you don't quite know what to do. And this is quite just taking a breath and thinking, okay, what smells are coming out of it? Okay, for me, it's incense, it's sage, it's all about cleansing, it's all about the head, which is what the high priestess to me is the majority of it about. It's all intuition and seership and priestess and kind of oracle style there.
Ange actually asked, does the image play a part, i.e. would an animal deck give a different smell to a JJ Swiss, etc.?
That's really interesting.
Yes, because here's the Terror of Oneness, the High Priestess. When you compare it to the one Ritchie is holding up, I would actually smell chlorine.
Yeah,
I would smell fresh air. I wouldn't
yeah,
necessarily get incense, but there
no,
would be a clear openness, that
yeah,
smell of of air
yeah,
is all I can say about it. So,
yeah. And
so
this is the joy. We can just bring in our own emotions that come in with it and work with it.
yes, and so oh, and Donna said not as Chloe as patchouli in a small metaphysical shop. Yes, hypnicity is here. Sandra
Yeah.
likes this idea. Said very interesting.
Well, it's interesting you say that, just because Sandra and I visited a shop a couple of weeks ago in London where they'd had all their incense burning and not a single window open for weeks in there. And it was a really, you walked in and you could feel your eyeballs beginning to go. It was that strong.
Yeah.
It just stayed. It was in our clothes. We were only in there for about 20 minutes and we
Oh
could
my God.
smell it days later still on our clothes. It was
Yeah.
really funny, but yeah.
Oh yeah. And yeah, and Mandy's spiritual tarot and mystic light
Hi,
worker is
Andy.
here, as is Lexi. Good to see you. I do not have a shamanic reading resource for a newbie to shamanism. I'll have to give that some thought. Um, oh, and inspiration psychology with Jen is here.
Jen,
Hello.
hi, Jen. Good to see you
And
here.
Jen, we are claiming the term tunkles,
Yeah,
tarot uncles,
uncles.
tunkles. So there we go. And yeah, and oh yeah, more spices for me. Very Arabian vibe. So
Yeah,
and
I quite often find if this is useful. Again, everyone each their own is to concentrate on one or two smells, like you talked about the chlorine and airy and all that, rather than to try and make your own kind of incense smell by putting lots of things in. It's better to go in with just one or two things. Should we try one?
yes, because let me get caught up a little bit
Okay.
because it's like so. And here's the thing. So the whole idea, and this is Gerald's version of it. The whole
Mhm.
idea of learning to read is just for you to have the resources that work for you to give a reading that resonates for you and the querent.
Yeah.
And just exploring the smells of the cards and paying attention to them,
Mhm.
it's not necessarily going to activate that you always get a smell when you see it, but when you get a smell, it's an indication that something is important with that, and to
Yes.
share it with the reader.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
yeah, oh, and Sandra said yes, it was
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
little shop.
Yeah.
So, and a few other people have come in that I've missed. Linda De Gonzalez is here. Hi,
Right.
Linda. And so sometimes the smell is different with each reading, I find.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well said. I would agree with you.
Really, Philippa. Yeah.
And so I think I think it's important. It's just a little tool to help
Mm.
us.
Yeah.
So, and
It's that nuance. It's that whole.
yeah,
And if you've got a really heavy smell coming through, as we were talking when we were about the Claires and being Claire salient, go with that one.
yep.
Say that I've got a smell of this coming through. Does that mean anything?
Mhm.
If you feel confident to do that with a reading with someone,
Yes.
see what happens. They might go no, but they might get something out of it. Other
Yeah.
people. So,
And Ren has never even considered this. How interesting. I mean, I'm glad you're here, Ren. Thank you.
yeah, it's great to
I mean,
see you.
and it's one of those things like Willow Love earlier said, I get nauseated or headache with certain smells.
Yeah,
Yes. And
yeah,
that makes sense. And I would pay attention to that. And I would also say if you have issues with certain cards, meaning things that you struggle with,
mm,
figure out if there is a smell that makes you
yeah,
nauseous or
yeah,
gets something stirred up in you, and maybe you can balance that.
yeah.
So, um,
And for some of the cards I've got, I've had some very odd, different reactions to what I would think from the image.
yeah.
That's what.
Oh,
interesting as
Very
well, and we'll
interesting. Yeah.
probably talk about some of that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, not necessarily all the nice cards may have for me a nice smell with it. And having said that, I don't have 78 smells, so I've probably got about 12, perhaps 20 cards that this works for in a tarot deck. I don't go through them all and kind of work something out. It has to be pretty spontaneous all through path working.
Yeah. And and so get through said this session is so interesting to me because I have a high sensitivity to smell.
Oh,
When love one passed, I can smell when they visit me.
yeah,
Yes, yes. It is like doing sound healing. Certain resonance will sound off or out of tune. And I know it's an area I need to work on. Smell can be the same way,
yeah,
perhaps. I would say so, yes.
yeah, yeah.
And Beth did say, I always can smell the card meaning. It appears to be one of the ways I read.
Fantastic. I was beginning to think it was only me, so it's so lovely to hear other people, you know, putting in their thoughts and building this one up. Great.
Yeah. And Beth says, Gerald, I've smelled body odor a lot in one deck. Can you guess? Um, is it one that you don't have in your collection, Beth? So, and Calla Lizzie said, if I'm reading on my late parents, I sometimes catch a smell of my mother's perfume or my father's aftershave. And I think this is so important. So,
Yes.
and
And comforting. Yeah.
yeah, Ange and Ren were talking, and because Ren had asked Ange, it's like, oh, do you do this? And it's like, now it's been discussed, so I have no doubt I'll think about it as I have a very good sense of smell. Anyway, so that's wonderful. So, but okay, so you were going to pull up another card.
Well, I've got several, but I'm just going to compare. I'm going to do that. So we talked about High Priestess,
Yes.
and that was my interpretation. And I thought, well, let's pull up the Hierophant, which is the male counterpart, perhaps, of it. What smell and what difference would this card perhaps?
I want you to leave that one up because I want people to have a sense of that smell before I show a different card.
Okay.
So, what do you get when you get this? And Beth said, yes, I am correct. She's not bringing the light seers. I'm not bringing the light seers up at all. So, what do you all smell
Yeah.
when you see that card?
And you might not get anything.
Yeah, and if you don't, that's okay.
Mm.
So, I know initially what I get is I get the smell of frankincense.
Yeah.
So incense.
Instant.
Yeah, and so Willow Love said book smell.
I get a book smell from this one.
Mhm.
Old books. Yeah.
And the Hierophant smells like Catholic Mass. Yes.
Mm.
Frankincense. Oh, frankincense and candle flames.
Yeah.
Damp darkness, old cathedral smell.
Yeah.
A lot of frankincense. And Ange said for a church.
And then think how the different frankincense or the incense smells works for these two cards. And you get, although they're burning the same kind of thing, there's a huge difference and a huge psychological difference to what would be incense that's going on there.
Mm-hmm. And okay. So I think that's really interesting. So, and a lot of people in chat are being great. It's like smell of old churches, candles and myrrh, Catholic Church incense, and starched linen.
Yeah.
Yes. We've got old library with some incense. Oh, I would actually love a scratch and sniff tarot deck. Someone please make it happen. And so here's the thing is like, okay, so we've had the Hierophant. What about this one? What do you smell with this one?
So I hold up my other Hierophant.
So, and Philippa was like going, frankincense and furniture polish. Oh, that is good. Yeah. So, and and Tricia said, I haven't really thought about this until now. But I have a Marseille deck that's always triggered the smell of French vanilla ice cream and old book smell. And so for the lights, for the Terror of Oneness, we have book pages, Florida water,
Mhm.
interesting. Book smell, yep, flowers. So
I'm getting more of a leathery smell with that one,
mhm,
like the bound pages, like a leather
mhm,
cover, rather than a, like the papery smell.
yeah. Oh, strawberries.
Oh, I can see that.
There's some fresh flowers. And Beth is saying in that Hierophant, I smell fresh air and the
Mm.
inside of a book,
Yeah,
not musty books.
yeah.
So yeah.
Wonderful.
And here's the interesting thing is this goes back to that idea, Richie, of the image that we first see with a deck and a card resonates with us because that's our frame of reference.
Yes,
And so
absolutely.
I think that's fascinating. So
Loving it. I'm loving it.
books and roses, there's a lot of roses, parchment paper,
Hmm.
old cathedral versus new cathedral, church, lots of natural light and windows. So there's a lot of strawberry smell in this one too.
There is. I can see why as well.
Hmm.
The hues in it.
Yeah. So, all right.
Shall we try another one?
Yes, please. Let's do this. This
I
is
make it a little bit harder.
well, sure. Let me put up Beth's thing.
Put some comments up first. There we
One
go.
could say that Dex Hierophant is a breath of fresh air compared to the Pope image. Yes. Yes. Oh, and yes, colors are a big part of the smell. Certainly can be. And oh, wedding or flowers,
Yeah.
either wedding or funeral. Hello, Sherry. Voices from the
Hi,
school. Good to see you. And oh, sorry. There you go. Put that up. And then Linda is like, "This is fascinating," and this
Oh,
is one of those things that I think it's really powerful to try to do that. So, all right, give us another one, Richie.
this is a tricky one. It might not even work for some people, and that's absolutely fine. But we're going for this one.
The Chariot. Okay.
So I'm going to leave that one up there to see what people. Again, you might not come up with anything for it.
I'm trying to find the Chariot and the Marseille because I did not put these in order, but I found it. So, um, oh, Kaylee said would be a fun game to do with a bunch of readers getting together. Yeah.
Mm,
Beth said horses and
mm,
leather, sand, dust, travel, so sweat, leather, and hot wind.
mhm.
Sandra said Egyptian musk because of the Sphinx.
Thing. Yeah.
Dust, dusty road, yes. Smell hot oil and horses. The desert at night.
Nice.
Fran has said humid, sandy smell.
Mm,
Jonathan is smelling the dust of the road and the smell of
mm,
fresh cut grass. Dust and wind. Dry earth.
mhm,
Dry, sandy desert. The fresh air outside on a windy day. Oh, sandalwood.
mhm.
We have horses and leather. Amrita said cats.
Lovely.
We have dusty desert. Yes. And Yum, love that. Yes. Yeah. So heat.
Yeah.
What do you sense in that?
Well, I get that. I also get a sense of like axle grease,
Yes.
but the one smell, and this again must unlock something for the garden. I get that smell of what I call 1980s men's aftershave. The ones that were really strong and potent, and I don't know how they might transfer across but something like Old Spice. I don't know if you had that in the States,
Yes,
or
yes.
denim, but it's those kind of 1970s, 1980s kind of that young men would wear out in the evening and just overdo it. And I just get quite a sickening smell for this one. And
Yeah.
I think there's something to do with the character of the charioteer here. He's being a little bit flash. He's a bit, Saturday night out in a Ford Cortina, and he's got his high karate insignia on, and
Oh my gosh, yes.
he's got that sense that's going on about it.
Yes. Well, and I think I can't remember the one. Was it Noir?
Yes, noir. Yeah,
And that one, because it's such a it may be ruddy and musky.
yeah.
So, and it
It's
is one of
interesting. A
those
lot of
things.
people talked about sandalwood and musk and Egyptian
Yeah.
smells, but that's what I was getting at, kind of very overpowering aftershave kind of,
Yeah.
but from that certain era.
Okay. And Bill Barr smells like that. And Jen said, my sniffer must be disconnected. It could be a good thing. It could be a very good thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, Saturday Night Fever smell.
Yeah.
Yes, the charioteer, all dressed up and ready to go. So, fresh air and horses.
Lovely.
Dakar Noir. That's
There you go. That's the one. Thank you, Marita.
So thank you for being here, Ange. I'm glad you're enjoying this. Well, and I think for that one is I do get a sense of, for that chariot, I do get this sense of there is a sense of sweat and heat.
Yeah.
But it's more of a stale heat and stale because those sphinxes are sitting down.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing is
Let's go with it.
Hypnicity said, I worked with him. It was gross. And Garnet is here. Hi, Garnet. So here's the chariot in the Terror of Oneness. What do you smell when you see this chariot? Because Tortoiseshell Moon Kathy says this has really captured my imagination. I'm glad. Sandra said ocean water. Water, yes, seawater. Yep. The smell of sitting in traffic on a hot car with AC. Oh, Donna, yes.
Did you ever have in the 80s the thing that hung from you like a car freshener?
Yes.
And they were like a traffic light. It had a certain color. I don't know if they're just in England, but I can't remember what they're called. They look like a traffic light, and the center one had like an orangey. And I mean, if I smell that now, it still makes me feel a bit nauseous. It's got that kind of overpowering scent.
We might have to do this again, Ritchie, because this is, we might have to do another one, and it's a
brilliant
fresh air and salt water, fish. Oh, here we go. Ocean possibility, fresh wind, relief and relaxation, fresh open air and seaweed, Chalamar perfume, tuna. Yes, I could see that. Salt water, ocean and salt air. Chariot is pure salt water and fresh air. We have cool water, ocean, hot day, wind, peach, seaweed, pectular, ocean, and sorry to the dolphins, fish. Yeah. And Jen said, I don't get actual smells, but when I am around certain people, I swear I can smell their aura, like ugly, negative, nasty smells when people send off bad vibes. When they are good, I smell flowers. Jen, that's really powerful.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. So, and sea spray. And Kaylee wants to jump into that card. Into the card, and I think it's one of these things. This is one where I smell movement.
Yes,
because in the other chariot I didn't sense movement. But this is the one where you get that smell of ocean air spraying up. So
I'm going to say something interesting here is that I actually agree with you. The first thing I get is smell of the sea and fish. But with that card as well, I still get a sense of a bit of engine oil from that boat.
yes.
And that's kind of an underlying thing because I'm dreadful at boats. And I've even been seasick on the paddle steamer that went around Disney on the lake. I mean, I'm that bad. I see a boat and on water and it can set me off. So that smell of oil and diesel and all that is just quite a triggering smell for me. And that underlines that card that you've been holding up. I get the air, but there's that diesely, smoky smell in the background.
Yeah. And by the way, in case everybody was wondering, ooh, what's that smell? Oh, it's Early Ritual wafting his way into the chat. So that's one of my favorites, Merita, that my husband wore when we first met him. Aw. Here you go. Freedom. Is that a smell?
Lovely. Yeah. It's a beautiful card.
Yeah. And the smell of movement. And it's one of those things that it's just like, it's one of those things that it's like, okay, it's just that, okay, it's just because smell evokes so many emotions. Now, I'm going to put this up there. You don't have to do this, but this one I can actually say, Ritchie, this one I definitely feel heat off of.
Yes.
And a definite charge because of the figure of the charioteer and what they're doing and the horses and that. So I think that's
and I get a kind of, again, a smell or sense of lots of smells that aren't quite working together. Again, it's that kind of doesn't sit quite nice. Smells that individually probably would be nice, but put together, they're a little bit overpowering or a little bit tired or a little bit old.
Yes. Well, and this also gives me a smell of sawdust because it's a bit like a circus.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and there's there's the best chatters are bringing it sweaty horse, barbecue, smells
barbecue.
So oversweet to the point of nausea, like if you went to a circus. Yep, circus. So this is great. I'm going to take a sip. What else do you got, Ritchie?
Well, I've got this one. Now, this is interesting because I'll put it up. There you go. It's our hermit.
Oh, I do want to put this up. Jen gets gummy bears from that one.
Yeah, I got gummy bears from that one there.
and here's an honest thing. Sandra didn't get anything from that.
And absolutely. And I think that's incredibly important to know that. And don't overcook it.
Yeah, that's Oh, Donna said the sense of smell. I mean, snow. Smell of snow. So, so what did the rest of you get? Gerald, this is my note for you to check your mail when you finish up here. Okay. Fresh, cold air, the smell of winter, snow, dark, cold air. I like that sense of dark, cold air.
Yeah.
Lantern oil, and Beth also said kerosene.
Yeah.
Cold air and old clothes. Hermits smell like damp caves and musty books, old musty books. So, I got peppermint.
Wow.
Musk. I'm loving this. Y'all are bringing it. Wet wool, kerosene. And by the way, I just realized I should be putting all of these up because we're simulcasting. So wet wool. I can see
wool. Yeah.
Cold, icy snow, fresh outside day smell. Mountain air. Jonathan said a mix of snow and unwashed clothes. And, wool. Willow love.
Adventure, love it.
Yeah, adventure. Sherry, we are actually, what smells come up when you see the hermit card? We've got nature, sage, I actually get nothing from the hermit, but I also have no idea what snow
Isn't
smells
that
like.
interesting? Yeah.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. So yeah, for those of you who are joining us, we're talking about tarot in the sense of smell as a way to enter into and engage with the tarot. So it's very fascinating. When I see this, Sherry said good smells. My granddaddy's Old Spice cologne. I am a big fan of the idea of it is okay. It's the okay, how do I describe this? Because it is worn wool, smoke,
Yeah.
and snow.
Yes.
Because that's the idea of the worn wool is it's not fresh, it's not new, but it has taken on the smell of the adventures. And part of that for me would really help to engage that hermit card differently.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
varnished wood.
Mm.
What about you?
Well, I picked this one because I get snow, but actually I get that kind of snow after it's snowed or before it snowed, that kind of sense in the air that you get from this one. So is it a smell? It's definitely a sense, but is it part of a smell? I'm not quite sure. I get the wool. But in your previous card, you talked about the chariot being, was it movement, you said?
Yes, yes.
This card smells of stillness.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And so for me, this character on the mountaintop, actually nothing to do with it. It's about just stop, freeze in that moment of time, taking that second, own that time, and then clear your mind, and then you can think about what the next adventure is. It's taking a pause. And that's what that smells about. It's about stop.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's Calla Lizzie is like mountains at night, hemp.
Yeah. Hemp.
So
Yeah.
yeah. And and it's a weird one because I get absolute silence from this card.
Mm.
And Jen resonates with that too.
Mm.
The muffling of snow and just the sound of single crunching footprints. Yes. Very true. Um, so, which I
Mm.
know isn't a smell, but it's a sense. And
Yeah.
that that works.
That's powerful.
Bye, Jen. Smell you later. So, so so here's another card. Here's another hermit. What about the hermit in the Tarot of Oneness?
That's got totally different
It
sense.
does.
It's a much stronger one, that one you have for me, and much more personal.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's important. And Plucky said, I'm getting sounds over smells.
Wow.
Stay tuned. That's another Tarot the Stash Way, number 26. So we rarely get snow here in South Carolina. And when we do, it's a crisp, fresh smell that comes. And Kathy said, the hermit always makes me think of Gandalf. So I can picture pipe tobacco. Imagine this hermit is a pipe smoker. So,
And
and
all that old kind of tobacco smell as well.
yeah, old cellar, evergreen. Donna said, when I was much younger and was able to ski, I loved the feeling of standing at the top of the mountain, listening to the silence just before I started down.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yep. Musky cellar,
Mm.
musky, damp smell, old, smoky.
Mm.
And the Terror of Oneness hermit has a wet, musky cave smell added with damp wool and kerosene. More damp dungeon
Yeah.
and claustrophobia.
Yeah.
So goo.
Yeah.
So a chemistry class smell. I can see that. Alchemy, dusty old stairs. Jonathan gets the smell of lamp oil. So, yep. So,
but isn't it interesting? Is that that's very different from this hermit?
yes.
What people are saying, just that using that one different deck can really open different meanings, different portals into this understanding.
Kaylee said there's more sense of loneliness of the hermit in this one to me, whereas the other one, the other, at least he's outside of nature, so not truly alone.
Yeah.
So
the one in you're holding the tarot feels a bit lost. Feels like he's really searching for something, whereas this one is a bit more come towards me. I can help you.
Yeah. I do think it's one of those things that for me, for this one in particular, it smells stale. But as you're walking up the steps, it has a freshness about it. Yeah. And so we have desperation.
Oh.
And I first got the smell of healing, then it turned into escape. Yeah. And so in this one, somebody had mentioned dry ice.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things that I could absolutely see that. And there's somebody had mentioned perhaps temperance or the smell of alchemy.
Yes.
Yeah. Bringer of light. Yep.
Yeah.
Like the walking up out of a New York subway.
Yeah. That's a whole different smell, I would imagine.
So
probably a lot of smells going on there.
Yes. Rose Blue is here. Hi, Rose Blue.
Hi, Rose.
Good to see you. And Jonathan is appreciative of this. So, okay, do you have another one? We've got
I've got loads. I mean, did you want to do one first?
Actually, I want to do a minor arcana.
Okay, they're harder, but yes, go for it.
Well, okay, and because
I found them harder, but as in there's less of them, but let's do one. What would you like to do?
I would like to do the 9 of Pentacles.
Ooh, nice choice.
And maybe I'm sucking up to Jamie, who is probably going to watch this later because it was her birthday on Wednesday, and but we all know that this is Jamie's favorite card.
Yes.
But so and Willow Love says I consider the Hermit card a positive card. So do you want me to show mine first?
Yeah, you do yours first.
So what do you get when what smell does this card bring up for you? The 9 of Pentacles. And this is one of those things that, Ritchie, I have to say, I have to really pay attention to the card rather than what the meaning is.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the 9 of Pentacles.
People, that one.
Nature, honey. Garnet says smell of money. I get that in the traditional one. Smell of sunshine and spring flowers, florals, breeze of flower smell, flowers in nature, spring, fresh air, and purpose. Smells like out today outside. I have my windows open. Citrus, a garden. I can smell those ferns because we have tons of them around our old home. Spring, oranges, cosmetics, forest. And this for me is a card of sunshine and that sense of how do I say this? Like the mulch that's really fertile mulch. It's because I'm walking on that and I'm bringing up all of last year's stuff. And so it has a beautiful richness about it.
Yeah.
So honeysuckle, 9 of Pens traditional one is garden smells mixed with bird and perfume. This one is very woodsy and flowery. Springtime, wet earth, smell of fall coming in. Fresh paint and wood of the bird.
That's really interesting, Donna, because that's what I got out of this one. I got the smell of paint from the birdhouse and mulching, but gardening that's been done. And actually, for a very pleasant, beautiful card, it's got for me a sense of things aren't allowed to get dirty or run down. They have to be pristine. It's got to be pristine. And when we can't show as things getting old or tired. It's constantly got to be updated and cleaned and looked after, which for me is a bit tiresome and a bit, oh, come on, just just let it sag. Wear something casual for a change. Don't worry about doing the gardening. The weeds will still grow. You don't have to be uptight about it.
Summertime pungent vegetables. This is making me think of the Pacific Northwest where it rains in the morning and by afternoon, everything is dry. And so there's always that sense of there's rain that comes through and washes stuff away.
Yeah.
And great observation, Ritchie.
Oh, thank you. That's just what I'm getting. It was that paint that came through. It was like everything must be tidy and neat at all times because we've worked hard for it.
Yes. Strange and overwhelming smell and interesting, Ritchie. That's a really great insight and layer. Yes, the card smells like pine.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know about in the UK, but we have a lot of pine scented cleaners.
Yes.
So
I love the smell of pine as well. All my candles are pine.
Yes, I do too.
Love it. Absolutely.
So, will you show your card?
Here we go.
Oh, and
we've got kind of different flora going on here.
Yes.
Well, we've got grapes and trees.
Yep.
And a very elaborate outfit.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and Plucky said on this one, a heavy, wet air smell. And Jen has brought up smell of dirty coins.
Oh, I love it.
This one smells like...
There's no coins on your card, are there?
No.
Well, there's nothing, no.
No. The smell of cosmetics, silk and fur, wine, evergreens, Hampton Court, if that has a smell.
It does, yes.
Leather from the bird's hood.
Yeah.
Frost and a smell of wet clothing. Glamour. Traditional card is roses, grapes, perfume, and healthy earth. Yeah, smells like money. Metal. White shoulders. Oh, that's a it's a cologne.
Right.
Or perfume. Sorry, I don't know. Nine of Pentacles smells like expensive perfume. Yeah. For me, this one, that one is, we have grapes and expensive perfume, and heavy brocaded silk and perfume. And Michelle Marie Astrological Tarot is here. A ripe vineyard exudes the intoxicating aroma of sun-kissed grapes, earthly vines, and hints of floral and herbal notes. Yes.
Lovely.
And opulent, rich, heady perfume. Perfume, definitely. Ange got nothing. That's cool. No worries about that. So, yeah. And Sherry's mom was a seamstress. So different materials.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and I think that one for me is because of the vines and the grapes. It is a very established smell. It's one of this has been tended to a lot.
Yes, so, I get that. I have almost. Of course, my garden smells of grapes. It always smells of grapes. Even out of season, I import grapes. It's like that.
Yes. There have been multiple people who've talked about cotton candy. So thank you for all. Now I want cotton candy. Yeah. So, yeah. So
I love it.
Do you have another one?
We've got loads we can do. Have we got time for another one?
I do.
Right, let's go. This is the interesting one because I said earlier there was one that didn't come out quite like I expected. Are you ready?
I am. Oh, okay. I know what I smell when I see that card. However, I want
You're
other
going to
people
hold
to
off
say.
for that one, are
I'm
you?
going to hold off because I want people to tell us what they
Yeah, let's find out what
smell.
people get
And
from
I
this.
do have. What's funny is I actually have that one in the Marseille pulled out because I was.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. Jen said burning.
Hmm.
Okay. Fire and rain. Rain and smoke. Electricity. Crumbling mortar. Thunder. Candy Soul and Soil is here. Hi, Candy.
Hi, Andy.
And Candy, so what we're doing is we're talking about the sense of smell. What comes up for you in the sense of smell when you see that tarot card that Ritchie's holding up? Ozone, ice, smoke, electricity. Kaylee says all I get for is what the Lord of the Rings smells like. So Ren Fair, is that a smell? Yeah, it is. Smoke and rock. Ozone and burning and rock dust, ozone, rain, and fear, gunpowder. So, burning flesh. I was waiting for somebody to say that. Yes. Gunpowder, plumes of dust. Anne said, I don't get a smell, but a fear of heights. Yes. Yeah. Forced cold air and smoke. Interesting. I like that.
Mm.
And fire. And the acrid scent of burning wood mingles with ozone from lightning strikes, creating a pungent, eerie aroma tinged with danger and destruction.
Mm.
Bye, Jen. Take care.
Hi, Jen.
So I was looking at this one earlier, and the thing that I get from this is I get singed hair.
Mm-hmm.
I get smoke, and that that ozone layer of a lightning strike.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Ritchie?
Well, I get petrichor, that smell of rain on ground, which is actually a lovely smell, and I really like the smell of it. I would even go outside after a rainstorm to smell it. So it's interesting that the image of this card that strikes so much fear often into people, for me, has actually got a really nice smell attached to it.
I think I think it's interesting with that. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so petrichor, I need to add that to my list of words. Mandy had said thunder.
But all those are generally the smells that people put in, like thunder, ozone, again, are smells that I really like.
Yes.
I love that kind of atmospheric smell. So, all right, what we got here? Oh, no, that's something very different, isn't it?
It is something very different.
Mm.
And so this one I could certainly there is a sense of actually charred wood.
Yeah.
And that you know, the smell of the burning. And this may be the one with the singed hair.
Singed hair, singed flesh.
Yeah. And Donna asked, is it because it's a refreshing smell, Ritchie?
Yeah, I was thinking that because it almost feels like the smell of petrichor. It's that the storm's over and everything feels like it's been washed clean. And I suppose that the tower, there is a sense of once this has been pulled down, we are ready to, lay the ground out again and start again. It's like everything has been in many ways washed clean, and the slate's been washed clean, definitely.
Yeah.
Time to start rebuilding from scratch again.
Mm-hmm. Burning, and it smells like a forest fire a year after the fire. Charcoal and earth and green. Yes. Candy brings up a really wonderful point. I suppose it depends if you see yourself falling out of the tower, already falling, or trying to get up and watching or watching from afar. This is the power of what we're talking about, because this is the thing. I think when you are learning to read and you're trusting your senses and your book knowledge, your street smarts, what is it that comes and what's the blend? That's really beautiful, really beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm probably missing some of the chat. So, hot stone,
Yeah.
smoke bombs, evil. So, and spilled blood. Yeah, tower is very smoky and acrid. And Beth said, Gerald, that card is much more literal, whereas the traditional one feels more metaphoric, blessedly.
Yeah.
So, and Candy added to that, or what your tower is. Absolutely. Yeah. This is beautiful. Everybody, you're really bringing it. So it's coming out into something better.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. That's great. Oh, and
This
by
is
the way,
fascinating, isn't it? Oh, okay.
just to pop that up there, and this one, it gives me a bit of a feel of it gives me a bit of a feel of cupcakes with the little sprinkles on top.
I've got burnt popcorn.
Burnt popcorn, yes.
Mm.
Ooh, a Pez dispenser. I like that. Michelle Marie said, Gerald's tower reminds me of domestic violence. It's a suffocating mix of fear and anguish and shattered trust, lingering like a heavy cloud, poisoning the air with despair. Yep. Yep. So, burning sugar smell. Yep. Yep.
You've got honey, crayons.
Yep. Oh, this is great. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Looks like they are having
I
fun.
don't know what acrobats smell of. That's interesting.
Acrobats, yeah. And some people, some of them are not going to evoke a smell.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Interesting. I wonder if subconsciously we reject buying or using a deck if there is no smell, but we don't realize that's a factor.
Isn't that interesting, Paul?
That is very interesting. So, do you want to do one more?
Shall we? One more?
I mean, the best chatters are here and the best lurkers and all that stuff.
Well, I tell you what we'll do.
Ooh, what?
Do a court card.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on. Let's find court card. Let's find court card. Oh, I know who. I know. We're going to go. Here we go. Let's go and find. Here she comes.
Oh, Queen of Swords. What Linda says, what a great way to interview decks or choose ones that really resonate. I think you're right. Okay, let me find my queen.
It's got no idea about the smell of acrobats. They just look like acrobats.
Maybe sweaty. Yeah. The
wind.
wind.
And that powder smell they rub on their hands, isn't it?
Yeah. So the wind, fresh cold breeze.
Now, when it comes to court cards, because they actually represent people in many ways, I'm very careful of the smells that I put to them because, again, that can tarnish perhaps how you think about the card. So you want to give it a smell, for me, that is neither a particularly, a particular emotion attached to it that's very strong, because you could find that this card pops up in a reading and it comes to represent somebody, and therefore if you start to tie it together with, I don't know, an ex's perfume or aftershave, you're going to have that perhaps negative connection to it. So I'm always particularly careful of not assigning anything too emotional to these ones without getting yourself tied up too much. So I go for smells that I generally like, but come with a bit of a characteristic.
Yeah. We have mountain air. High wind from the mountain clears the air so you can see situation more clearly. Cold air. Lily of the Valley, the sword. Not sure if it's a mixture of air and sharpness of the gasoline with planes. Stella Artois. Now I want a beverage. Impending rain. Apples. Not sure. Yeah. Reverse the Queen of Swords. What then?
Oh, so if it's reversed, what's the smell?
Very interesting. See, because when I see the Queen of Swords, I get that one. I get a heat. I get a hot air smell, and it's a steady breeze. It's a steady breeze. So, and Candy says, whoop, wait a minute. Reversed, it's a stagnant ditch.
Yeah, nice.
So,
just in case we didn't know what it looked like reverse.
Yeah.
This one changes for me because sometimes it's like a dab of patchouli behind the ear or on the wrist. Just something very subtle enough to go, I'm here. It's quite a strong smell, but just a subtle dab. So it's enough to go, I'm here. I have put something on. You will remember it, but I'm not going to overpower it.
See, and that's where I think I get that sense of a warm air smell. Because somebody had mentioned that there's a clearing, there's a sense of being able to see things from a perspective, and I think that's maybe because that's why I get the warm smell. It's the smell of the first hot full day of the summer.
Yeah.
So, sparkling wine and scented flowers, fresh breeze that blows the clouds away. See, and so how about the Spirit of Swords?
So that's the same card. Totally different, isn't it?
Yep. And so, and for me, when I think of this one, or when I look at this one, I smell fresh air, and I also smell. I don't know if birds have a smell. They do have a smell, but there's I'm going to say this. It's the clarity of the smell. The smells, because it's high up, there's not a mingling of the smells. It's a clearer smell.
I think there's a dappling of smells. Oh, look at me, a dappling of smells. My goodness, what's coming? But because she's high up on that mountainside, much like this, but you're obviously getting the personal view looking down. You're picking up the odd smell that's just coming in on the breeze. So you've got trees, you've perhaps got some animal, perhaps got some water. You've got a breeze that's perhaps, I don't know, a bonfire from a long. It's got those little subtle, but it's definitely air that's moving through it.
Yeah,
it's moving all the time.
Yeah, and see, and this is so. I think what's really important. What percentage are you reading the image of the card alone, or the meaning of the card? Candy, that's a great question. Because I have been trying to. I've been trying to just look at the image and not the meanings. And I think this is one of those things that I'm, for the next week, as I'm reading cards, I'm going to be mentioning probably this. People are going to be, they're going to be like, shut up, Gerald. We don't care about the smell of the card. Well, I am. And so, so this is a wonderful thing, because the meanings of the cards just in the book form do create smells.
Yeah.
But I have to turn that part of my brain off and really focus on the image. And sometimes that's hard to do. So that's a great
to actually fuse together in many cards that it's almost impossible to separate those two things.
Yes. Yeah. I wonder what it will add to your meanings in the long run. I think it'll be very fascinating. Several people also said like fresh linen, which is interesting because I get that, and I can relate. And for those of you who are writing, tarot guidebooks, maybe you explore the five senses with each of the
Yeah.
cards, because this idea of fresh linen, linen on, the line dried linen, there's a
Mm,
beautiful smell with that, and there's a sense of clarity about that. So, okay. Beth said, Gerald, it's so interesting to me that you associate the Queen of Swords with heat.
mm.
Yeah, yeah. Donna even said a sense of a bleach.
Yes, I agree there, Donna. Yeah.
And Kala Lizzie is, I don't know if I can separate the meaning from the image. Yes. The Spirit of Swords feels like the mental clarity we receive after the tower moment, a fresh blend of pine, cedar, and earth carried on the breeze with a touch of freedom, growth after fire. Yes.
Mm.
And, clean. And Candy and Beth, she gets cold. The queen
Yeah.
is cold. So, bye, Trisha. Thank you. Barbara Ruth said, I think smells add an atmosphere of the card to aid in getting its meaning in that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly. This is what I think it's about. It's about putting that extra little layer on if you need it.
Yep. Bye, Fran. And Katie says, oh, I'm going to be sniffing all my decks now, as if I need another reason not to clean my kitchen. Well, not cleaning your kitchen is Tarot Stash approved. And I love this idea of looking through cards and invigorating or encouraging our sense of smell
Mm.
as a way to understand that. And the fact that different images will create different senses of smell.
Yeah.
It's very, very fascinating. Very
I'm
fascinating.
loving this.
I am too. I mean, now I'm like going, shut up, Kala Lizzie. I was doing them before. Excuse me. Kala Lizzie, thank you for the encouragement. I already did them. I have another part to do. And Beth said, Gerald and Ritchie, how
Ooh.
about we all explore the five senses in this series? Touch next. What does this car feel like against the hand? What do these colors add to your sight? And what do we hear?
Love it.
I think so. I think, stay tuned. And I'm joining the virtual sniffing society on this. So interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Take a moment and describe the smell that surrounds you right now. Oh. And Hypnicity was like, she smells shenanigans. So yeah, Ritchie and I will talk about that, because that's
Yeah, that sounds like a lovely idea.
thing. And I mean, I have been in the last 2 weeks getting very clear messages that I need to meditate. And I'll be honest, this does not meditate well.
No.
But having the sense of smell and in using that sense of smell um, gives an idea of being in the present moment.
Yes.
So,
Which is why we often light incense at certain ritual ceremonial times, because it's that indication not only to ourselves and to perhaps a deity that we are entering into that moment, but to other people as well. I mean, Peter knows if the incense is going, then keep the noise down.
Candy said, I think out of the senses we forget to smell. Just
Yes.
stop and smell. Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, when we're not well and our noses are blocked, just the fact that we can't smell must, I think, make us feel even more iller, because we can't access that part that is. And people in chat have just put what wonderful, all evening have been talking about all the wonderful things they've come up with and the different smells and the different associations. Yeah. The moment you can't smell because of whatever, all those associations are taken out of your life. And so it doesn't add any extra pleasure to your life, unfortunately.
Yeah. And Michelle Marie agrees with Beth. I associate swords with mental clarity with cold air. I associate the wands with warm, humid, pungent air. I love hearing different perspectives, as do I. And it's like so very incredible to hear and listen, because for me, the Queen of Swords has always been warm. I mean, and now I'm like, really? I think about that.
She's
cold.
cool to me. She's a cool lady.
Yes. And Jules, learning to listen, is here. Jules smells coffee. And Beth brings up a good point. Our dogs remind us of how much fun smelling can be.
Yeah.
Yes. And my Poppy almost lost her sense of smell with COVID, and it lost almost all of her sense. Oh, I'm sorry. That stinks. Spilt milk on a hot plate. Yeah, and our taste and sense of smell are dramatically linked. And our sense of smell is so dull compared to a dog's. Their noses are little chemical analysis labs. Yes. Wow. Ritchie, this has been freaking amazing. And I think we need to do more of these.
You mean the Tunkles need to come back?
The Tunkles need to come back. Maybe I'll come up with a Tunkles introduction.
Oh, could you imagine the Tunkles?
Oh my God.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. And it's funny, we associate smell with temperature. Yes, that's true. Yeah. And the Tunkle show. So, and love to focus on the sense as we awaken our senses and the messages from spirit through the smellers. I think it's a really important thing to remember that.
Yeah,
because I have a live coming up with Hershey and Medium Betsy Palmer, and we're going to be talking about it's like a well-being thing. It's like, what do we have in our toolkit or in our toolbox? What skills do we have so when it gets tough that we can open up that toolbox and go, oh, I can do this.
Yes.
I can do that. And I think that that's something, I think the sense of smell is important with that. So, Candy, we're glad you're here. So, and Beth said, oh no, Candy, and so sorry. Maybe she will someday wonder if she can relearn smell, like every day practice smelling something, coffee beans. Oh, that's interesting. Rebuild it.
Yeah.
We have more love for the Tunkles show. So yeah. And thank you, Linda. I was on with Linda yesterday doing readings for her and had a wonderful time.
I catch that over the weekend on replay.
And so yes, so we will have Tunkles. Do we have taunts? So
be careful with that one.
Yeah. So, oh, here you go. Did anyone play the game where you blindfold a friend or sibling and have them guess what they're smelling when you were little?
No.
Yeah, which is why I never like to be blindfolded. We did those
things. That could be open for an awful lot of.
Did you ever do those trust walks on things where you had, blindfolded and somebody walked you around? And I'm like, no.
Yeah. We used to do one where you have to feel things with a blindfold on.
Yes, usually around Halloween.
Yes.
So, yep. So, but yeah. And all right, everybody. Thank you so very much for being here. Ritchie and I, as soon as we are done, we'll be talking about when we can do the next show, because we've got four more senses. Five more. We've got 5 more senses. All right, everybody. Ritchie, do you have anything else coming up?
I've got a quiet week or so. There may be something next Friday. I need to catch up with people. But next week's a very busy week for me. It's Eurovision week in the UK. So
if I
that means
remember this, you don't ask. You will not see Ritchie while Eurovision is on.
no. But I am free next Friday, so perhaps I might pop on. It depends how exhausted I am from Eurovision parties.
If you still have any nerves left, or if it's been emotionally damaging to you. So
I want to do another Bardic journey entry as well. So I might do that.
This is great. This is great. Everybody, thank you. I would love that, Ritchie. You got some support with that. So
thank you.
All right, everybody, please remember to share this video if you liked it with people that you think might enjoy it. See, I can do this, and I get a thumbs up. Do you get a thumbs up?
No.
So anyhow, thank you all, and we shall see you again soon. Everyone, take care. Bye.
Bye.